Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is a second series FP Journe Chronometre A Resonance. This is the famed acoustic resonance chronometer, originally launched in 2000. It was later refined with the addition of a solid gold movement out back, and this is an interesting 38mm example that is triple pink, rose gold dial, case, and movement. So 38mm in diameter. This is the original case size for the watch. You can see in profile 9.1mm thickened from lug to lug, 44.4mm with a 20mm spacing in between the lugs. If you're wondering what makes this a second series watch, well, by that I mean it's the second version of the watch, launched in about mid-2004 with a rose gold rather than a brass caliber. Dimensionally, though, the two are the same. Easy to wear, the watch is comfortable, flat, short across the wrist. I could recommend this for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, maybe even 13. You can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it wears really nice. Well constrained within the bounds of the wrist, even from over the top, which exaggerates the width of a watch. It's flat enough, and with a domed bezel, it will slide under a cuff. Here we have a more modern Journe strap. You can see rectangular scale alligator leather, medium blue, semi-gloss finish. We've got a folded edge, and we've got a monotone stitch with alligator leather and small round scale on the bottom. As you can see, factory strap, brand new condition. Using gator on both sides adds a few $100s to the cost of the strap, but it also lasts much longer. You can see no crimping, no gouging, a brand new Journe factory strap. The lugs are drilled fairly close to the case to move the pivot centers inboard and improve small wrist fit. So a curved spring bar is used so there's no impingement against the case. You have a full range of motion there. And pull tab spring bars, you can pop the strap off the case without a tool. We have a rose gold Journe buckle that matches the watch. Not much to say about it other than that it does have an elevated bridge. So when the strap is in the buckle, it doesn't increase the thickness. The one slots into the other. Case is simple, and it's a well-established Journe design. We have integrated Calatrava-style lugs that turn down 90 degrees from the horizontal sweep of the case bend. Everything is polished, more or less symmetrical caseback and bezel with domed profile and their flanges defining the midcase, and Journe's famous double dimple knurled crowns. This one is a flyback trigger for the seconds. We'll see that in a second. This is the crown that winds the watch and sets the two independent 12-hour format time zones. The dial is made of rose gold. You can see it's a sort of matte opaline, very lightly media blast texture. The bezels surrounding the subdials are polished, and then we have silver subdials with Journe's unique tapered biomorphic hands, really looking like something from the world of nature. And then these are set independently. But because acoustic resonance, the principle of this watch, takes about 7 to 10 minutes to synchronize these two sides to each other, because remember, there's no mechanical geared link between them, and there's no spring connecting them like with Arm and Strom. So after about 7 to 10 minutes, the two sides will be coupled by resonance, but the seconds hands will not be parallel. That's why Journe gives us this flyback trigger that allows us to synchronize the two hands. You have to give it a nice firm pull. You want to be super delicate with these things, but what you really need to do is you need to give it a very firm pull. And that's how that works. It synchronizes the two sides, and then they should stay locked together, varying by no more than about 5 seconds per 24 hours at worst, and generally quite a bit less than that. These are independent time zones, and then we've got a power reserve indicator that's a little bit odd. As you wind it, you'll notice, if you could see, the needle is actually moving towards 0. And the reason it's doing that is because the power reserve is in the style of a marine chronometer. And with a marine chronometer or a navigation clock, you've got a power reserve indicator that indicates 0, as in 0 hours since fully wound. So it'll indicate 0 when fully wound, because it's more important to wind a marine chronometer at regular intervals than to know how much power duration it has left. So in other words, if you got to wind that thing every 24 hours, you want to be able to see exactly when it hits 24 hours since its last full winding. And so this does that. It works like a marine chronometer. Power reserve, and it does have two independent power sources, two barrels under this mono bridge, but 42 hours for both sides. Taking a quick look, we have the dial side hardware with these polished screws that have been a feature of Journe watches under the Journe brand since the very first subscription series Tourbillon in 1999. In terms of water resistance, it's 30 meters. So dress watch standard, you don't want to swim with it. Caseback, a few things to note. First, you can see the maker's mark of Eleanor, and then the double French hallmark. So I believe it's an eagle for gold and a wolf's head for platinum. But you'll always see that double hallmark on the French-made Journe cases, made by a company called Eleanor, and that's their maker's mark right there. They were made by Eleanor in France until about mid-2008 when Journe bought the company, moved it to Geneva, and it became part of his Boîtier de Genève operation, making his cases. Boîtier de Genève and Quatronnier de Genève actually share one complex in Geneva. The dial and case factories for Journe. A lot of people from Eleanor actually commute across the border to work there to this day. And you can see it also features a Swiss hallmark because the watch is assembled in Switzerland, so it's a double hallmark with the French maker's mark. Other things to note, well, we got the Holt head screws, that's what those are technically called. And then the movement itself, $14.99. So the size is 14 French lean. 1999 is the year work started, and then 2 means it's the second version. The first one would have been the one with the brass movements. And also, frankly, the first version of this movement had a somewhat different bridge arrangement with visible ratchet wheels. Mechanically, though, they work the same way. So you have power, train, escapement, and balance. Now, the balances are adjusted in 6 positions together, so you can see 6-position adjustment, one more than a standard chronometer. 36 joules. It is 18-karat rose golds. This is a solid gold movement. It's a weighty watch with a gold case style and movement. 3 hertz beat rate on each, and you can see they're free sprung for durability against shock as well as precise regulation. And if we get very close, you can see that there's actually a little gold pinion screw there. And then there is a polished steel rack attached to this balance cock that's fixed with a set screw. And so the idea here is that you want to very judiciously balance the 2 sides so they're equal in every way. And then you want to make sure that you get the perfect spacing between the balances, because acoustic resonance takes advantage of very small parasitic drag, friction, and sound emanations radiating out from these escapement balance combinations. And so it is important that these things, by means of sound wave, actually interact with each other. What will happen is once they are coupled, instead of moving in parallel, they'll move in opposition like this, in and out, in and out. And the idea is that because they're always moving in equal and opposite direction, and you can see that even the hairsprings via their stud holders, they've been oriented equal and opposite. So if one slows down, the other will, by an equal and opposite margin, hopefully speed up. And since they're coupled together, they will be self-correcting. One slows down, the other speeds it up. One speeds up, the other slows it down, just like that. So that's how the system works. We have stripes across the bridges. We have actually fairly good bevels here. Not all Journe bevels are good. These look pretty good. They're rounded, they're mirrored, they're handsome. You can see we've got bevels in all the jewel sinks. We've also got polished screw heads. A couple of the elements associated with the resonance tuning, including the bridge for the pinion and then the rack right there. Those are mirror polished, and if you look carefully, you can even see a little bit of interior angling on the steel, which is beveled. And then there are those 2 knuckles on each side where the interior angles converge. A rare thing to see on a Journe watch. Wheels are satinated. You can see we have engine turning on the base plate. And then if you do want to 0 reset it, you can always use the flyback action sort of as a 0 reset system, not just to synchronize the hands, but to effectively hack and synchronize the watch. There's a lot to love. I've often told people if you want to buy an iconic Journe, the most iconic Journe, you want either a tourbillon with remontoir or you want the resonance chronometer. To me, this one seems more magical and more unique. But it is up to you. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details of this resonance chronometer.